What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Mile High Hockey, Christmas Eve, Festivus, I believe. It's Drew Spivak, Will Peterson with you as always. And the Avalanche played a huge game on Sunday in Minnesota. If you were upset about the Broncos game, all you had to do was flip over to the Avs bleeding into Sunday night. And man, Drew, that was a fun one. A 5-1 win over the Wild. I thought it was a statement game, kind of steamroller, keeps steamrolling. Hey, you made your cute little Quinn Hughes trade, but the Avalanche are still the class, not only of the division, not only of the West, but of the entire NHL. So many things to unpack and so many things to like from really a dominant win by Colorado over a team that, Minnesota wants to call us a rival. I don't think Avs fans feel that way, but regardless, nice to go in there and remind them they're still little brother, at least for this season, when it comes to the hierarchy in the NHL.
Yeah, and especially after the comments that Jesper Wolstad made after they won in overtime the first time, just about we won the game. I think that makes us the better team. Like, no, listen, Minnesota, you're coming. You're going to be kind of in that conversation in the playoff race towards the end of the year, but you are not on the level of the Colorado Avalanche quite yet. I know that was fun that they got an overtime win, about a month ago, whatever it was, but I think we saw on Sunday night, you mentioned statement game, and I think you're spot on. I think it was absolutely a statement game that, Minnesota is one of the top 3 teams in the league, but there's a tier to this whole entire thing. Colorado's up at the very top. Dallas is right below them, and then Minnesota's pretty well below where Dallas is right now. But a really good win, a fun win, a dominant win for this Avalanche team to go out there and just dominate and put that game away pretty early on in that thing. Was really fun to watch.
Yeah, no, it was really fun to watch, and there were a handful of takeaways, and let's start here. I think Cale Makar severely outplayed Quinn Hughes, and we had joked about the Canucks fans all admitting once they traded Hughes, yeah, he's not better than Makar anyways. We just had to say it because he was our guy. And then immediately Minnesota fans started chirping about, we have the best defenseman in the NHL, and it's like, Quinn Hughes is a great player. I'm not going to sit here and slander Quinn Hughes. That would just be silly of me. But I can also acknowledge Hughes is a great player, and Makar is an absolute superstar. He had a goal in that game. I thought he just played really well, and it was just kind of a good reminder to Wilds fan, you traded for a great player, but quit kidding yourself that you traded for the best defenseman in the NHL, because that guy plays in Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, Quinn Hughes, what I see last week, he's Cale Makar light. He's a great player. He's phenomenal. He brings a lot to that Minnesota team, but he's a kind of like the Wild are to the Avalanche. He's a tier below,
right,
where Cale Makar is, and I think he's going to do good things for that team. And that Wild defensive core is a pretty good defensive core, but Cale Makar is Cale Makar. Quinn Hughes can't do the things, especially I think offensively, that Cale Makar can do. I think Quinn Hughes, you could make an argument he might be at least on par defensively where Cale Makar is, but offensively, Cale just brings a whole different dynamic to the table. And now the Cale's starting to get things together on the power play and score on the power play again, which is something that he'd been lacking severely. It kind of goes to prove even more hey, Cale Makar's on a whole other different level than where Quinn Hughes is right now.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And then of course, Nathan MacKinnon, 2 more goals, gets to 30 goals on the season in only 35 games, becomes the fastest player ever in an Avalanche sweater to accomplish that. I mean, think about the guys who wore Avalanche sweaters: Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Milan Hajduk, Nathan MacKinnon himself breaking his own records, and the list goes on and on. Only Michael Goulet did it faster, and that was with the Nordiques in the 80s. So it's not a franchise record, so to speak, but it's an Avalanche record, and we're still going back 30 years to find the first Avalanche player to ever score 30 goals in the first 35 games of the year. I'm sort of running out of words to describe Nathan MacKinnon, but that doesn't mean he doesn't deserve airtime. It's that fine line between we can't get complacent and just expect it, while also acknowledging this guy is making history nearly every single time he takes the ice.
Yeah, what's he got now? A 8-game point streak. He's got 15 points over those 8 games, and yet still Connor McDavid has somehow caught him in the scoring race, which kind of blows the mind a little bit. But it's just, when you watch Nathan MacKinnon, you kind of wonder, all right, what's next for him? What's the next kind of plateau that he can get to? I mean, he's on pace for more than 60 goals this year. I kind of want to look at it and say, all right, you know what? Let's shoot for 70. Can Nathan MacKinnon go out and get 70 goals this year?
Yeah, he's got 30 and 35 games. So some quick math on that. He's on pace for 66, 67.
It's not crazy.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Especially the way that he goes on heaters all the time. It's not crazy to think that Nathan MacKinnon can get that 70 goal mark, which is just, it's unreal. And I know, like I just said, I know McDavid has caught him in the scoring race, but when you watch the totality of the league this year, Nathan McKinnon has been the best player in the league. And I don't even really think it's been particularly close as far as the second place person goes. I know the scoring race is what it is now at this point, but Nathan McKinnon is clearly the Hart winner. He's clearly going to get to 60 plus goals. It's just, all right, now can he kind of elevate it to the next level? Can he get to the playoffs and lead his team to a Stanley Cup, win a Conn Smythe trophy, which I think is the one thing that's kind of eluding him in his trophy case wherever he keeps his trophies in his house. But what he's doing this year is just, it's phenomenal. And the way that, he hasn't even skipped a beat, like the whole Mikko Rantanen trade. I think a lot of people were worried was like, well, is he still going to be the same player that he was without Mikko Rantanen? No, he's the same player. In fact, you could maybe even make an argument that he might be better, that Marty Necas is a better fit with Nathan McKinnon on that line than what Mikko Rantanen is. As crazy as it is to think, but it's awesome to watch him night in and night out. And you always just like when he doesn't have a goal, you're almost disappointed. You're like, oh man, Nathan McKinnon was kind of quiet tonight, but you look up, he's probably got 2 assists on that. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you bring up that trade. I think, Avs fans and myself included, it was all Mikko all the time. And I think that just shows you what a competitor Nathan McKinnon is, because he was upset, but I think he was upset for like 48 hours.
Yeah.
And he was allowed to be upset for 48 hours. You look at his initial comments after that trade, a guy like that never gets traded in this league. I'm pretty shocked, yada, yada, yada. But while a lot of Avs fans, and again, I'm poking fun of myself here, kind of pouted about it, that's what makes him the best hockey player on earth, is he took a day or two, he digested it, and he moved on with his life. And I think you made a really interesting point. He may be playing the best hockey of his career, and he's in year 13.
I know.
It's very rare that a professional athlete, forget hockey, any sport, plays their best ball in year 13, particularly in such a physically taxing sport like hockey. I mean, Nathan McKinnon is still very much in the prime of his career, and he's been doing this in an Avs sweater since, I was graduating college when Nathan McKinnon was a rookie. It was that long ago. I mean, it's hard to sort of comprehend that this guy's still getting better and better and better when he's been in the league almost a decade and a half.
I mean, what does he lack as far as his game goes? Like, you look overall at the totality of it, like, okay, he's not a great face-off guy. Okay, like, what do you do? He's almost not even a center. He almost is like a winger as opposed to a center. Like, he's not spectacular defensively, but I don't even care, because what he brings to the table on the offensive end, just the threat that he is night in and night out, it's really, really cool just to kind of see like the progression of his game. I mean, 13 years is a long time. And the fact that he's putting together his best season of that stretch, you're like, okay, well, now what's next? Like, how much better is he going to get over the next, because what is he, 30 years old?
Yeah, about ish.
Yeah. So, all right, what's his age 31, 32, 33 season look like? He's going on an upward trajectory still at this point. 13 years of his NHL career. It's really a testament just like to how hard the guy works and what he puts into his regimen, which I know we've all heard the stories, like how crazy he is about his body and everybody else's bodies at that point.
Diet, workout, all the above.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's cool to see that the hard work is paying off, and it just means great things for the Avalanche, and that means that this Stanley Cup window is going to be open as long as Nathan McKinnon is at the level where he is right now.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you remember when they played, and I don't know why this is popping into my brain, but do you remember when they played in Lake Tahoe against the Golden Knights, and there was no fans, and it was a COVID thing? I don't think there was going to be fans anyway, because they were just kind of in the middle of nowhere. But there was the mic'd up of the Vegas defender when Pietrangelo when McKinnon got the puck, and he's here we go. And then McKinnon scored. I think it was Mike Tirico on the call, and it was one of those things where we were all locked in our houses and you had nothing fun going on, and like that's been this guy's reputation for 5, 6, 7 years. Oh boy, here we go. Like, go YouTube the mic'd up clip. And I just can't imagine what is going through defenders' heads. That's in a deserted lake in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the game was on TV, a million plus watched it, but just 18,000 people, what these defenders are thinking every time that dude gets the puck of like, I'm screwed, and maybe that's kind of blunt, but that's just that's got to be what's going through these defenders' heads.
Well, and it would frighten me if I'm a defenseman, like looking at a freight train coming down the tracks, because that's what he is.
Yeah.
Like Connor McDavid has, maybe better hands and a little bit more speed, but Nathan McKinnon with the size, he's such an angry skater. It would frighten me watching that dude coming down the line, knowing, oh yeah, by the way, you go across this wing and you got Marty Necas who's flying down the line as well. Then Arturi Lekkinen is going to be at the front of the net. It's an overall total package with him and that entire line that makes him and that team basically so dangerous.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's so much fun to watch. And the Avalanche clearly told the Wild, okay, you're up and coming, but we're the top dogs for now. All right, let's flip it ahead to tonight, Ball Arena, Avalanche and Mammoth here in Denver. They'll take a little Christmas/holiday break and then head to Vegas. Listen, man, the Avs are a wagon at Ball Arena. We've discussed that over and over again. Haven't lost since October to the Hurricanes. Mammoth, I know they gave him problems a little bit in the home opener. I was there for that. It was kind of a slog of a game. The Avalanche still ultimately won, but Drew, you could tell me again the Avs blow them out tonight. And also, even if they don't blow them out, I still think they'll win. That's what's so remarkable about this team is, even if the Avs play their C game tonight, they can still win 3-2, 2-1, something like that.
Yeah, and what's fun is that if you look at the standings right now, I mean, obviously it's late December, but if the playoffs started today, this would be your first round matchup where the Mammoths are sitting. This is the second wild card. Obviously, things are going to change. The standings in the NHL literally change by the day. Things are so tight and compacted right now. But listen, Utah's a kind of up-and-coming team. They're banged up a little bit. Logan Cooley not being in the lineup is really going to hurt them. But they've gotten pretty good goaltending from Karel Vejmelka this year. And we saw in the 2 games that the Avalanche played them already this year, the 2-1 opener, like you mentioned. Then the Avs went to Utah. That thing went to overtime. The Avs lost 4-3 in that one. So the style of play that Utah brings every night gives the Avalanche fits because Utah doesn't have the high-end skill that Colorado does. So they're going to force you to play dump and chase. So if Colorado's willing to play that type of game, which occasionally they are usually not willing to do that. They want to use their speed. They want to use their skill to just drive to the net. Utah doesn't let you do that. So if Colorado can't break that kind of spell from them, this is probably going to end up being a 3-2, 4-3 type of game tonight. And hopefully that is the case because I would like to enjoy, a full night of hockey knowing that, hey, this is not going to be a 5-1 blowout for the Avalanche. Blowouts are fun, don't get me wrong, but I like it when it's more close and you get into the third period and you got a tight game. It just makes it more exciting to me. But I know for some people like, it's the night before Christmas Eve. Let's just get a blowout and get it over with.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun to watch for sure. And you're right. Is it a potential playoff preview? So much hockey still to go, but I do think about the Seattle Kraken a few years ago who did not have the star power, but their style kind of bothered the Avalanche in that round 1 series, and a lot went wrong for the Avalanche in that series, but Seattle did upset them in 7. I would never pick Utah to upset the Avs, but just something to plant the seed, keep an eye on that maybe Utah does play a style that bothers the Avalanche just a little bit, but there's no question about it. Colorado's the much more talented team. All right, we're going to take Friday off. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy the holiday break for the NHL, and then be back at it a week from today. Plenty to react to as the stretch before the Olympics will really start to heat up late December, all through January, early February. And then everyone will go play for a gold medal. And then the Stanley Cup chase is on. So a lot of hockey left. Been so much fun doing it with you in 2025. Look forward to 2026. And we'll see you next time on Mile High Hockey.